Bizarre space accidents you won't believe actually happened. Millions of miles above Earth, everything can go wrong in ways you couldn't even imagine. Space helmets fill with water, toilets explode, and foam flies like a missile. This is the wild, unbelievable world of space accidents. Let's get into it. Accident number 1. The fogging helmet from hell. Picture this. You're hundreds of miles above Earth, tethered outside the International Space Station, doing a routine spacewalk. Everything is going according to plan. The Earth is beautiful, your gloves are pristine, and you're feeling like the ultimate human superhero. And then, your helmet fogs up. Completely, totally, utterly gone. Like someone just slapped a permanent frosted window over your face. This was the nightmare reality for astronaut Michael Barrett in 2009. His suit's cooling and ventilation system malfunctioned, and suddenly, his visor turned into a glass wall he couldn't see through. On Earth, you'd wipe your goggles, sigh, and move on. In space, one wrong move and you could drift off into the void, smash delicate equipment worth more than a small country, or worst case scenario, permanently end your career and your life in one bad moment. Barrett had no choice but to rely on his training, his sense of touch, and the voice of mission control whispering instructions like some cosmic GPS. Every step had to be calculated, precise, and calm. He couldn't see bolts, wires, or even his own hands. It's like doing surgery blindfolded while floating in zero gravity. Except instead of a scalpel, you're holding a multi-million-dollar experiment that can't be dropped. NASA didn't take this lightly. They immediately revamped helmet ventilation systems, added anti-fog measures, and reinforced backup procedures. Because when you're 250 miles above Earth, a foggy visor isn't a nuisance, it's a death sentence waiting to happen. And let's be honest, this situation is equal parts terrifying and hilarious in a you-can't-make-this-up way. You can almost imagine Barrett muttering to himself, "Great, just when I started to feel like Iron Man." So here's the real question for you. If you were Barrett floating above Earth in a sealed suit with zero visibility, would you panic, flail around, and scream for help? Or would you channel your inner astronaut zen and methodically follow instructions like a cosmic ninja? Think about it. Your life literally depends on how chill you can stay when the universe decides to play a cruel joke. Accident number 2. The exploding space toilet. You'd expect space disasters to involve lasers or asteroids. In 1973, Skylab astronauts got hit with something way grosser. Their toilet exploded. Yes, seriously, an actual toilet went kaboom. Skylab's waste system worked using fans and airflow to handle, the results of human biology. But one day, a pressure imbalance caused by a malfunction made that toilet go full Michael Bay. Waste and water sprayed everywhere. Zero gravity turned it into a disgusting snow globe of doom. Now imagine, you're peacefully orbiting Earth, looking at that beautiful blue planet, and suddenly you're dodging flying droplets of you-know-what. The crew tried to stay calm, but cleaning that up in zero-G? A nightmare. No gravity means everything just floats. Towels and rags become your last line of defense between sanity and stench. Beyond the comedy, this was a serious hazard. Contaminated air and surfaces could cause infections. Liquids could short out electronics. NASA's engineers immediately redesigned the system. Stronger seals, better fans, and an emergency pressure release valve, also known as the never again button. The best part? Astronauts later joked about it. One said it was like fighting a brown hurricane. Honestly, if your job involves fixing an exploding toilet 300 miles above Earth, you deserve a medal and hazard pay. So, I gotta ask, if you were up there when the toilet blew, would you laugh, cry, or just open the airlock and float away? Accident number 3. The foam strike that nearly killed the shuttle. Here's where things get less funny and more terrifying. In 1983, during the STS-6 mission, a chunk of insulation foam came loose during the launch of the Space Shuttle Challenger and slammed into its windshield. Foam. Sounds soft, right? Yeah, not when you're traveling at 17,500 miles per hour. At that speed, A feather could punch through metal. The impact cracked the shuttle's windshield and sent alarms blaring. Mission Control went silent for a moment. Everyone knew how bad that could have been. Now, this didn't destroy the shuttle, but it foreshadowed something much worse. Because years later, a similar piece of foam broke off during the Columbia launch, and that time it ripped through the heat shield. The shuttle disintegrated on re-entry. So yeah, foam. The same stuff you probably kick off your couch. In spaceflight, it can kill you. After the STS-6 incident, NASA realized they'd been underestimating the danger. They changed the insulation material, added better inspections, and put foam strikes on the top 10 nightmare list. It's one of those moments where the universe reminds you even the smallest thing can ruin everything. Astronauts know it. Engineers lose sleep over it. And honestly, if I were sitting inside that shuttle when the windshield cracked, I'd probably say, yep, this is how I die, because of foam. So yeah, next time you see a tiny piece of foam fly off your chair, just remember, that stuff almost destroyed a $2 billion spacecraft. Accident number 4. The astronaut who nearly drowned in space. Alright, this one is a nightmare that sounds like something out of a bad sci-fi movie. In 2013, astronaut Luca Parmitano was doing a routine spacewalk outside the International Space Station. Everything was normal. The Earth looked gorgeous, the stars were twinkling, and he was basically living every space nerd's dream. And then, he felt water in his helmet. At first, he probably thought, oh, that's weird. But then the water kept rising. And here's the terrifying part. In zero gravity, water doesn't drip, it floats. It spreads. It clings to your eyes, nose, mouth, basically anywhere it wants. Suddenly, breathing became a challenge, vision went to zero, and the very thing keeping him alive, his helmet, was trying to kill him. Parmitano had to stay calm. He couldn't panic. One slip up and he could have drowned, drifted off, or gotten tangled in his tether. Mission Control was frantically guiding him step by step back to safety, and he followed instructions like his life depended on it. Because it did. Imagine floating hundreds of miles above Earth, tethered by a thin line, trying to maneuver with water in your face like some insane underwater obstacle course. After he made it back alive, NASA investigated and found the culprit, a clogged water separator in his suit. The fix? Completely redesigned helmet systems, better water management, and updated emergency protocols for all future spacewalks. Basically, Parmitano survived so you don't have to worry about drowning in space, at least from a suit malfunction. It's almost absurd when you think about it. Space is supposed to be this majestic frontier, but the real danger sometimes comes in the form of a tiny, invisible leak. Helmets, suits, oxygen systems, even the smallest hiccup can turn your dream spacewalk into a literal death trap. Accident number 5. The hamster who went to space and didn't come back. Alright, buckle up for a story that's equal parts adorable, tragic, and utterly bizarre. In the early 1960s, humans weren't quite ready to risk themselves for space experiments. Understandable, because rockets are basically giant explosions with Wi-Fi. So, the Soviets came up with a brilliant solution: send animals first. Dogs, monkeys, and yes, tiny hamsters. One particular mission had a hamster strapped into a capsule for re-entry testing. Everything was going smoothly. The little furball probably thought he was just going for a spin. And then, disaster struck. A tiny air leak developed in the cabin during re-entry. Pressure started dropping, and just like that, the hamster didn't make it. Now, you might be thinking, okay, that's sad, but also kind of a minor blip. Wrong. This little guy's death was a wake-up call. Engineers scrambled to analyze every detail of the mission. They realized that even a microscopic breach could kill a living creature instantly. That hamster's unfortunate demise led to tighter seals, more reliable cabin pressure systems, and a whole new set of safety protocols. All essential for keeping actual humans alive in space later on. So, in a weird way, this tiny rodent paved the way for astronauts to survive orbital disasters, helmet leaks, and floating toilets. So, here's the thing, it's also horrifyingly absurd. Humanity literally risked lives, First the animals, then ourselves, just to figure out the most basic questions about breathing and pressure. And yet, somehow, the hamster ended up being the unsung hero of space exploration. Imagine your tiny cousin coming back from space and teaching NASA how to not kill astronauts, except less cute and way more tragic. So yeah, space is amazing, until it's not. One wrong move and suddenly you're part of a story that's impossible to explain back on Earth. If that doesn't make your Monday look easy, I don't know what does. Like, subscribe, and comment below. Would you dare step into that chaos?